Hello, everyone. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Sherry, and I am an online speech language pathologist and ESL teacher. Welcome back. In today's broadcast, we are going to address what platforms should I use? So I'm going to share with you my experiences with several different platforms. And also I'm going to share one platform that I haven't used, but I've done some research and wanted to share that platform with you as well. So let's get started. But first, wanted to tell you that this week I will have other broadcasts, including what curriculum do I use? Where can I find other curriculum? How about free curriculum? And then also I will have guests this week on someone who develops websites for tutors. They specialize in that area. So I'm going to bring them on so they can share with you the importance of SEO and also what things that will help you get students and how they can create a website to address your needs. And then I will also bring on someone who is a master content creator, and I've worked with her at Zebra English. Great person, and she is willing to help you learn how to develop your own curriculum. So here we go. Let's get started. The first one that I use is Zoom. Now, I know you may think Zoom doesn't work in China. Well, yeah, it does. It does work quite well in Hong Kong. And I have had several of my students actually on the mainland who can use Zoom as well. The thing with platforms, if you are teaching in China, is that you need to have, just like everything else in life, plan A, B, C, D, and E. And you have to be adaptable. To adapt. So it's important to make sure that you do have your parents on WeChat or maybe Ding Talk, which is another platform that we'll talk about. Email is great as a final backup. So if you have not already created an email for your tutoring business, you should go ahead and do that. I do have an email for my tutoring business, which I'm going to share here. So you can feel free to email me if you have any questions, which is learnenglishwithsherry@gmail.com. I know it's really long, but that is my brand for my students. So create all of those backups so that if you have a class and your student cannot get in the platform that you've sent them the link for, you can quickly change to another method. Besides Zoom, the next one, which is my absolute favorite, and this is the one that I use most often in China. I use Zoom pretty much everywhere else in the Middle East. I've used Zoom in India. I've used Zoom in Australia. I've used Zoom in Latin America, Central America, South America. I've used Zoom in Russia. I've used Zoom many different places, but the next one is Zumu. And this is basically the Zoom for China. And so it is something that parents should be pretty familiar with. And it is the one that I've had the most luck in using. So what happens though if Zumu doesn't work? I do have another platform that I use that honestly I'm not as stoked about because it's not as user-friendly, it's not as intuitive, but it seems to work for those students who have a poor internet connection, right? So you know that happens. They have a poor internet connection. What can you do? So with Zumu, you can share your screen, you can record your lessons, which then you can sometimes share with your students depending on where they live. You can do all the features. You have a pen, you have a breakout room, lots of different options. With Vuv, it doesn't have quite the capabilities that I like. And to be honest, I can't figure out how to share my screen and to see myself at the same time. I'm sure there's a way, but I don't like it. So I haven't really looked too much, but I do have some students that when I share my screen, I can't see them. I should figure it out, but I just haven't taken the time to do that. Vuv does not require as fast of an internet connection. Another thing that you may want to do is share with your students. Just indicate to them, hey, you can talk to the parents. Again, remember they're able to translate via WeChat. So you're going to want to ask them to maybe go out and purchase one of these. I will share with you, if I can, the one that I have. So this is my Ethernet cord. I have an Ethernet cord that I have plugged in directly to my router to my MacBook. Many times when they are living in the apartments that have many floors and Wi-Fi, they're not getting that steady stream, that internet, and it fluctuates and it interferes with your class. So I have talked to several of my parents about purchasing an Ethernet cord, and I show that to them. And sometimes I'll even send them a link so they can find something similar. Okay, so the next one that I'm going to talk about is one that is newer to me, and that is Classen. I'm going to tell you, I kind of have a love-hate relationship with Classen. What I love about it is that you can do almost anything with it. It has all the bells and whistles. It is the one that is most like the platforms if you're used to teaching for the big companies, for Magic Ears, for VIP Kid, for Q Kids, for GoGo, for Zebra. It is the one that's most like that because you can give digital rewards to your student. You can, of course, you can share your screen, but you can also bring in content that is on your computer. You can easily upload it to share that. You can go on the web. It is really everything. It has everything there, but it is not easy to use, in my opinion. You actually need to get training, and it does cost money. With Zoom and Zumu, you can do 40 minutes before you have to get out of the classroom and go back in, and it's free. Vuv also has free features. I do pay for my Zoom. I do pay for that just because I like to record and I like to have all the features, but with Vuv, I do not pay for it, and I do not pay for Zumu. So I typically only teach 25 minutes. I am not a big fan of teaching 50-minute lessons. If I teach 50 minutes, it tends to be with adults, and I can use Zoom for that. So Classen, you do have to contact the company because they do not have their prices on the website. You have to actually contact them to get a quote on what it would cost for you to use Classen. The bonus of Classen, besides all the features, is that the students are then able to watch the playback right in the platform. And many of them are familiar with using Classen because it is used in Chinese classrooms. One of my parents is she's an English teacher in a school in China, and she shared with me the ins and outs of Classen from her perspective as a teacher. But from what I'm understanding, she doesn't have some of the different user features that I've been able to use. So I'm wondering if she has a scaled down version of the paid version. So Classen is something the parents will like because they can go back and they can watch the playback just like they're used to in their regular classrooms. So this is my fallback. This is like my plan D. If A, B, C, and D or A, B, and C aren't working, WeChat. Why I don't use WeChat as my primary service for my platform, because some people use it and that's all they use. It just, you can't screen share. And again, correct me if I'm wrong. These are just my experiences. So I have to use my phone because I don't have WeChat on my computer. I could do that. I've just never done it. So it's just awkward because you're going to have to hold up your phone, and then you're able to switch the screen, of course, just like you can with FaceTime and stuff. But it's kind of my last ditch effort if everything else has failed. But it is something that's really comfortable for parents because they are so familiar with WeChat. As a side note, be careful, because one thing that I often hear from parents is watch the font size. So watch the font size, because many times the parents will say, it's too small, we can't see it when you share your screen. So you're probably going to want to zoom in on whatever you are sharing so that they can see it. Besides the ones that we've already mentioned, Zoom, Zumu, Vuv, Classen, WeChat as a backup to the backup to the backup. Skype is one that I do use very rarely. This is more when a student prefers Zoom and they prefer Skype. So they ask, so I will Skype with them. These are usually adults that I'm using Skype with. And then this one, Ding Talk. I've known about Ding Talk for quite a while. I know that it is used a lot in business communications, and Magic Ears use Ding Talk. I didn't realize that it had all the features of a streaming platform, so you can share your screen. I did check it out in the App Store, and it has really poor reviews from people who are not in China. It seems like maybe it's difficult to get your account verified, kind of like WeChat, and it seems that they don't get very much support from the company if you're not in China. That's what I'm reading, but take reviews with a grain of salt. So those are the different ones that I use for my online teaching in different parts of the world. Specifically, what works well for me in China has been Zoom if they are in Hong Kong, and then some people on the mainland, I think it's because they have VPNs. Zoom works well. Zumu works extremely well almost everywhere. If they have a bad internet connection, then I go to Vu. I am using Classen with a small language school that I work for, and I am considering using Classen for my private students now that I've had more training on it. You're definitely going to have a training on that. At least I did. And I've used so many platforms. If it doesn't make sense to me, then I feel like I have a pretty good handle on what other people would struggle with as well. Okay. I have 2 minutes before I need to get into my last class of the day. I hope this video has helped. Check back as I will do my next video series on curriculum. What are we going to teach? Have a great day, everyone. See ya. Happy teaching.